Mastering the passive voice, transitive and intransitive verbs. Hello language learners. Welcome to our next session on the exciting journey of learning English grammar. Today, we're going to dive deep into the topic of passive voice, focusing particularly on its use with transitive and intransitive verbs. By the end of this session, you'll understand the distinction and know exactly when and how to use these verbs in the passive voice. Let's get started. To begin, let's clarify what we mean by passive voice. It's a grammatical construction where the object of a sentence becomes the subject. Instead of saying, "John ate the apple," active voice, we might say, "The apple was eaten by John," passive voice. In English, the passive voice is typically formed by using the verb to be plus the past participle of a transitive verb. However, the main point to remember is that passive voice shifts the focus from the doer of the action to the recipient of the action. Transitive verbs, as we know, are verbs that have an object. They transfer action from the subject to the object. Examples include verbs like eat, kick, love, etc. Now, when used in the passive voice, the object of the verb becomes the subject of the sentence. For example, consider the sentence, "Sarah kicks the ball." Here, kicks is a transitive verb and ball is the object. In the passive voice, the sentence becomes, "The ball is kicked by Sarah." Notice how the object has now become the subject of the sentence. In contrast to transitive verbs, intransitive verbs do not have a direct object. They don't pass the action to an object. Examples include verbs like arrive, go, sleep, etc. But here's the tricky part. Intransitive verbs usually don't form the passive voice because there's no object to become the subject of the sentence. However, some intransitive verbs can be used in a passive-like structure if they're followed by a preposition. For instance, the intransitive verb, arrive, is typically used with the preposition, at. Therefore, you can say, "A decision was arrived at," where it mimics a passive structure, even though arrive is intransitive. And there you have it. We've unraveled the mystery of using transitive and intransitive verbs in the passive voice. Always remember, the key to mastering these is practice. So, keep writing, keep speaking, and don't hesitate to make mistakes. Remember, in the world of language learning, every mistake is a step closer to proficiency. Thanks for joining today, and keep up your fantastic progress in learning English. We hope this session was helpful to you. Until next time, happy learning!